James Upton for Pro Boxing Fans. Delighted to be joined today on Zoom with Mateo Tapia. Mateo, how you doing?
Yeah, good. Thanks for having me on. It's
No
something
problem.
new on Zoom.
That's it. Thanks for joining me. Let's start with your last two fights. Let's go from there. So your last fight was in Dubai against Steve Collins Jr. on the MTK card. You come in and you stopped him. And you also fought Reynold Quinlan the fight before that as well. Let's talk about those two wins. How big were they for your career?
The Quinlan, I think, was my, was my biggest so far. It was, it was a very stellar fight. It was like a very career point for me, like a career turning point for me, because he's been at the top, and he's been to places where I want to be and where I want to go. And yeah, just to go 10 rounds with him and to have that experience, I definitely learnt a few things about myself going through camp and whatnot that I didn't think I had. And yeah, just the way it ended up, I ended up beating him pretty convincingly with no problems. And yeah, it was just a good night, the Quinlan fight. And then the Collins fight, well, he came at me so quick. And he came at me with bad intentions the whole fight. And but then again, I prepared well for that fight. I did a 10-week camp or something, and really saw the outcome. I got him out of there in the first round, so which wasn't meant to happen. I didn't think it was meant to happen, but yeah, but it's boxing. That shit happens.
Talk about, you mentioned the Quinlan fight. You learned stuff about yourself that you didn't know during the camp, during the fight. What were those things that you learned for that build-up?
Just mentally, where you can just be in a state for 10 weeks, 10, 12 weeks thinking about someone. That's all I had on my mind was Rain and how I was going to beat him every way possible. Even to take his heart, I was thinking, it was just stuff like that. And in training as well, I was just pushing my body to like new limits where I've never seen before, or I've never been able to. And yeah, and I was able to do box full time professionally, and that's what made a big change. I'm a bricklayer by trade, so transitioning. What happened there? Transitioning to that lifestyle was different for me. So yeah.
So was that your first full-time camp, you say, there for Quinlan?
Yeah, first full-time camp. With no work, just training full-time.
How much of an impact did that have on your training to be able to just fully focus on that?
It was incredible. It was just, I can't explain. It was something, while I love boxing, to be able to do it full-time just makes it even better. And yeah, it's just crazy to be able to do it now, to be able to do it full-time. Yeah, so I'm just blessed to be able to do it.
And obviously, with Reynold Quinlan, the UK fans will recognise his name because he came over to fight Chris Eubank Jr. The RBO world titles on the line that night at the Olympia in London. And he's quite a big name over in Australia. So for yourself, was that, like you mentioned, it's a career-defining fight for yourself and win?
Yeah, definitely. It'll want to go in the books of my grandkids or kids in the future, and to win the national title against him, yeah, definitely. It was one to go in the books.
Have you noticed any of your stock rise after that fight?
Yeah, it did. And, happy it did, because now I can box professionally full-time with no interruptions, and being able to, that's the biggest part, just being in the gym full-time. And yeah, definitely.
And then obviously after that, you fought, as mentioned, Steve Collins Jr. You sort of ripped up the script a little bit there. Might say it's not.
Yeah.
How did that feel? So you're fighting in Dubai as well. I believe it's your second fight in Dubai, was it?
Yeah.
What was it like going back there?
The second time was way more relaxing. The first time I went, I had it was like an on-call fight. Like they said it was going to happen and they couldn't find an opponent, and I was like on call. So we had got a call 4 weeks beforehand, and we ended up fighting this dude from India. And to be honest, I wasn't prepared fully, but I still went in there and I got the win, got him out of there in the 8th. And the second time around, I was way more relaxed. It was just going to just everything, the traveling, everything was way more relaxed. And yeah, got a full training camp for that fight. And yeah, I think that's what impacted the outcome of that fight, is that training camp.
Talk about training camp and obviously going full time and that being a massive help to you to focus in your career. I think I read an interview that you'd done a little while ago, and you mentioned in there that you was a bit of a party boy. You like going out and partying, and that's all stopped and changed now that you're fully focused on the career. Why did that change?
I went through a stage of my life where I was, I could just say, I left school. I wasn't with my parents or anything, so I didn't have a person to look up to. So I was sort of left in the growing up. So I left school, and I was as you do, I was fighting amateur at the time, and I lost a few decisions that didn't go my way, and then I just got into a bad scene where I was, partying a lot, using a lot of drugs, whereas to selling drugs as well. But I think that part of my life really changed when I was 16. I always had in the back of my head where I wanted to turn professional. And as soon as I hit 18, I just did it and just changed my life around. It was like I don't know what it was. It was just a thing I've always had in the back of my head. And I knew what I had to do to become a professional. It's just eat, sleep, train, boxing, and that's just the way I changed my life. I knew it needed to be done, so yeah.
What was it about professional boxing that gave you that motivation? Because obviously you was an amateur and that didn't give you that drive to stop. What was it about pro boxing that made you stop?
I wanted to, live up to the greats, like all the greats do, hold world titles. And I know I could, but I didn't have the motivation. But as soon as I turned professional, everything changed for me. It was like just this goal I've set since I was a kid, and I want to reach it. And I believe I was put on this earth, and I can do it. So, yeah.
And let's go a little bit back into your background story. So before the amateurs, you were born in Mexico, obviously moved to Australia. How did you end up there? How was the journey between the two countries?
I think my mum was born here by accident, and she got papers. So we were living in Mexico and the United States at the time, and then I think my parents just wanted me to grow up in a better environment, a better country, and they knew Australia had that. The opportunities that you can get here is, you can't get it anywhere else in the world. So I think that's why they moved over here. And when I was 3 or 4 years old, I think, and that's when it started. We moved here, and yeah, we've been here ever since. Crazy place.
Do you think that with your boxing career, do you think it's helped you being in Australia, or do you think that potentially you could have progressed quicker in America/Mexico?
I don't know. That's the question. Yeah, I don't know. But I think how it's going now, it's pretty good. But then again, I am trying to get into the Mexican side of things, because I know Mexico's huge with boxing. So, but yeah, I want to definitely try, put my name over there in the States and the UK, and yeah, definitely.
When you first started boxing, obviously with your Mexican heritage, did you look up to some of the Mexican greats, or was it the Australian boxing that you were focusing on at the time?
Nah, it was the Mexican greats that I look up to. Chavez, what's his name? Arce, and you got Salvador Sanchez is in there, where I look up to a lot. When I was growing up, Johnny Tapia was in there as well. But then you get I look up to, I try and get a lot of things from every different fighter and try to put it into mine. I used to just watch heaps of fight videos, heaps of just fights online, and yeah, I just used to watch all boxing. So I can't really say, who I wanted, who I looked up to. So yeah.
I mean, three names that you mentioned, great fighters: Salvador Sanchez, Cesar, Chavez, and Johnny Tapia. Do you look at any of those guys and study them and try and replicate anything that anybody does?
Definitely. Salvador Sanchez was on his toes the whole time, the whole fight, just bob him the whole fight. And then Tapia's that ferocious style he had. You know, he didn't have all the talent in the world, but the way he hopped into the ring, if he hopped into the ring 100%, he was unbeatable. So, yeah, that's in Chavez. His defense is just, yeah, that's crazy.
Absolutely, no words needed at all. Let's talk about, obviously, you're signed up with MTK. Mike Altamura, obviously the Australian-based MTK guy over there, excuse me. How much of a help have they been for your career?
Yeah, they've been good. I'm signed with MTK, just with MTK. Mike does help in those aspects. But yeah, I'm signed with MTK, but Mike does help, and he's a huge help when it is to finding fights and whatnot. But yeah, signing with MTK is probably one of the best things I've done. Yeah, they look after the boxers, and you know, there's a lot of management and stuff out there that, you know, they're not really in for the boxers, and I think MTK, the meetings I've had with them and whatnot is, you know, they're all about us. So that's what makes it even better, more comfortable.
Obviously, with MTK, they look after some of the biggest names in boxing, like Tyson Fury's, Billy Joe Saunders, etc., etc. Mm-hmm. Being guided by those guys, does that give you faith they can take it all the way to the top?
Definitely. We've had meetings, and I think, you know, in the next couple of years we can be there, but it's just all about just staying in the gym, staying ready, and yeah, just being prepared for these fights that are coming up, because I can get there, and I believe I can get there.
Talking of staying ready and staying prepared, how have you been dealing with lockdown and also this pandemic going all around the world? Have you been able to still train?
Yeah, look, it's been hard because in Australia, the gyms are just opening up this week, or in New South Wales. So it's been hard. I have a gym in the garage and just been running when I can, just trying to stay busy. And but yeah, it has been hard. Into lockdown, I've had to go back to work just to make an income. And yeah, but that's all good. We're almost out of that. Once this weekend's finished, we can all go back to normal. Just go back to the gym like old times.
So is that a plan? Once the gym's reopened up, are you back in there full time, training towards it?
Yeah, that's full time. We'll be in the gym, so can't wait. Just time's ticking now. Time's ticking.
When do you think you'll be back in the ring? Will you be back in Australia, or with MTK, will they get you out somewhere else with boxing back earlier?
Look, I don't know. Possibly, hopefully I can go overseas. I want to, because that's, you know, you don't get more experience traveling overseas and whatnot. So hopefully we can do it overseas. But if there's a fight that presents itself here in Australia, I'm, you know, willing to take it if it's on a good card. I mean, good money. I'm willing to take it. So, yeah.
And finally, Mateo, before I let you go, let's talk to us a bit about your ambition. What's your plans? Say if we speak again in 12 months' time, where do you want to be after a year?
12 months. Well, hopefully we can travel by 12 months. To a year, 12 months, maybe. I don't know. I see myself overseas, fighting overseas, but I want to be fighting these top dudes overseas. I think that's my plan, is to be up there fighting overseas, internationally, getting my name out there and getting more exposure in the international scene rather than the Australian scene. I don't know why. I just feel like that's how it should be. You know, I don't want to be a small fish or a big fish in a small pond. You know, I want to be up there tested with the bigger dudes, and you know, the ones that have their name around the UK and the States. I want to be there. So hopefully, say in the next 12 months, I can be up there in those shows in the UK or an undercard on a big fight. But hopefully that's just, yeah, we'll see. That's just all up to MTK, I guess.
You mentioned you want the big guys, the top names. Is there anybody that you are actively targeting or got in your sights at all?
No, I don't really look into that, but I know there's a few. I know my dream fight will be Canelo. I mean, if the time's ready, that might happen, but you never know. But that's where I'm putting my goal towards, is those top dudes, because that's how you have to be. Is you look at those top dudes and you got to tell yourself you can beat them, and I believe I can. When the day comes, I believe I can. But yeah, that's just all up to MTK, and hopefully we can be up there soon.
Absolutely. Mateo, hopefully we see you back in the ring soon, hopefully at the top very soon also. But thanks for your time today and joining us on Pro Boxing Fans.
Nah, thanks for having me, and yeah, thank you. Awesome.
No worries at all.